The man whose name has been emblazoned on Forest shirts this season as they've stormed up the Championship has paid his first visit to the City Ground. Victor Chandler is chairman of the online betting company that also bears his name, which is the club's shirt sponsor for the current campaign. The Gibraltar-based businessman was given a tour of the club's facilities and met members of the coaching staff and playing squad. And he also found the time to speak to Forest player. Well, welcome to the City Ground, Victor. I gather it's your first visit here. You've had a good look round. What do you make of what you've seen so far?
Very impressed. A traditional football ground. I should imagine the atmosphere is wonderful there on a match night.
Sponsoring Forest was your first sort of foray into the world of football sponsorship. How successful do you feel the agreement's been so far with the club?
More than we could have ever imagined because how well the team's played recently.
Have they surprised you just how well? I don't know what your background is in football, but...
I take an interest from a business perspective, but I can't say that I'm a football fan.
Yeah.
Although probably one of the only people here on Tuesday night that attended the '66 World Cup final. That's
right, you're joining us on Tuesday night for the QPR game. Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So just tell us a little bit. You were there for the England-West Germany 1966 game. Did the ball cross the line? That's the golden question.
I couldn't see that. I was the shortest person there, I think. I was 4 rows up, standing next to my father, and on the other side was Peter Cook, the comedian. And everyone stood up, and there was poor little me that couldn't see anything.
The existing agreement, of course, with Forest ends at the end of this season. You say you've been very pleased with how it's gone so far. Do you see the agreement continuing, the relationship continuing beyond the end of this season?
We very much hope so, yes.
Why was Forest so appealing to you? There are so many clubs out there. What was it about Forest that really struck the right chord with you?
Well, it's history, I think, more than anything, and the potential of the club, especially with Billy Davies as a manager. Was
dipping your toe into the world of football sponsorship, always something that was on the radar?
We've looked at it for a long time, yes. Looked at it for a long time, and this was the first opportunity that we really liked.
Now, you made a very bold pledge at the start of the season. You've got a wry smile on your face that you were going to buy season tickets next season for existing season ticket holders who opened an account with you. Are you now beginning to worry? Are you preparing to dig deep into those pockets of yours, do you feel?
We'd love you to finish second, that's all.
We love that as well, but when you made that
we never imagined that it would go so well, especially after the first 7 or 8 games when it looked very disappointing and the team seems to have gelled and things have changed completely. It looks like a different team.
Betting on football seems to be growing by the year. Is that your experience? Is it a huge growth industry for you now?
And it's worldwide, yes. I mean, it's well over 50% of our business now.
You say worldwide, I would imagine. Is it big in Asia in particular?
Absolutely.
Don't know how closely you follow Forest progress this season, but how impressed have you been? You mentioned the first 7 or 8 games when they were playing well enough, but the results just wouldn't come their way.
I was very relaxed as far as my pocket was concerned earlier on, but now we're very impressed. I think they're playing very, very well, as I said before.
You're first and foremost a racing man, of course. Have you any background, any interest in football? You've mentioned the World Cup final, but does it extend any further than that?
I watch quite a bit of football, especially my sons are mad. Well, I don't like to say it, but they're mad Chelsea supporters, and it seems the kids always want to be with the winner. And the 13-year-old loves to go to the matches, and the 5-year-old wears Chelsea pyjamas. So I get to watch Chelsea a lot.
Just talk a little bit about yourself. You're regarded in the industry as a gentleman bookmaker. Could you possibly just explain what that is, and is that a reputation that's important to you as an individual?
I think it's the press that gave you that title, and I appreciate it, and it's about honesty and integrity within the industry.
Is that important to you?
Absolutely.
Though, that you feel that
probably the most important thing?
Is it? Yeah. And can you tell us a little bit about your business? I gather it was started by your grandfather way back in the 1920s.
Well, I think my great-grandfather was a street bookmaker, so it goes back that far. My grandfather started Walthamstow Stadium, the dog track, and was a bookmaker on course, and started the telephone office, and then my father took over after the war. Was it inevitable that you were going to follow in the family? No? Not in any way. My father became ill when I was 21 and died when I was 22, and I was rather forced to take over the business as I had young sisters at school and a mother to keep. Other than that, I trained in the catering business, believe it or not. Really? That was the career path that you were aiming to go down. Any regrets then now? I just wondered what would have happened, but it's a tragedy that my father was 50 when he died. Finally, there can't be too many football club sponsors who've been immortalised in print by Lucian Freud. We were talking about it a little bit earlier on, but just tell us the story. How did that come about? He was an acquaintance of my father, and I bumped into him was a restaurant called Wheeler's where a lot of the artists used to go and have something to eat and a lot to drink. And I met him there one evening. We got talking about horses, and he became a lifelong friend. And after a bit of time, he persuaded me to sit for him.
Do you own the picture?
I'm not going to comment on that, but it started off as a Head and Shoulders, and it went so well, then it went full length. So that's the story. 18 months of sitting most nights.
Brilliant. Well, to be immortalised by a man like him, it
Worth
really
it,
is something
definitely
else.
worth it. Yes.